and welcome to another video. We are out for the day. We are in the woods. We're in a part of the woods that you've probably not seen before, and today we are going to weave a basket out of bramble. You can actually weave baskets out of lots of different material, anything that is flexible, so clematis vine, bramble, honeysuckle, willow, things like that, bark, anything like that that will remain flexible when it's green, you can use for weaving. But that's enough chatting, let's go and collect some materials. So there are two ways that you can prepare a vine. So the first and the easiest way is you just put a good pair of gloves on, grip it really hard, and just run your hand down in the direction that the thorns are sat, otherwise you will get spiked. Alternatively, if you don't feel confident enough to strip the vines like that, you can use a knife, and you're just again in the direction that the thorns sit, you can just strip the vine like that. Now, when you're working with a material like bramble, especially at this time of year, you'll definitely come across some problems. And one of the problems will be that you'll try and bend the material and it'll crack like that. Now, it's not really an issue because the brambles, they do contain a fibre that can be used to make cordage as well. So it's a very, very fine cordage that bramble produces, but it's very, very strong. You'll find most people tend to avoid the cracking problem by collecting their materials prior to weaving and soaking them overnight. But obviously, if you're out in the woods and you just want to make a basket there and then, and you don't have the time to pre-collect, you don't have the time to soak materials, then there is a way that you can work with the cracking material by just preempting the break. So you'll just run your fingers along the vine and you'll actually compress the pith, because in that way you're actually still encouraging the vine to be flexible, even though the temperature and conditions are such that it's cracking in a way that you don't want it to. As I said with the cordage aspect, because bramble contains those natural cordage fibres, even if it cracks, you'll probably find that the vine itself will still stay in one piece. So even though this isn't my preferred material, that's definitely an advantage with working with something like bramble over, say, honeysuckle, for example, or clematis vine, where once it snaps, bang, it's gone and you can't do anything about it. Obviously, the fact that you can extract cordage from a bramble as well as use it to weave means that in theory you can create the entire basket from the bramble itself and not have to include any man-made cordage in your supplies when you come out. So if you'd like a detailed tutorial on that, let me know in the comment section and I will be more than happy to make one for you. Right, and there we have a finished bramble basket. Well, I should probably trim that bit there. So some of you may be wondering what my preferred natural material is. It's actually willow bark, specifically goat willow bark. I enjoy working with that, but obviously you can only have access to that if there's a downed tree or a tree that's been cut for conservation reasons. While we're on the topic of questions, I actually made a post on my channel maybe 3 weeks to a month ago where I gave you guys the opportunity to ask me a question, and I'm just going to go through a couple of those now. So the first question on my post was from Danny in the Wild, asking me if I had an Instagram. I do. I will leave a link to my Instagram in the video description, just in case anybody wants to follow me. You can get just wee photos and sneak peeks basically of the kind of stuff that I'm working on for my channel. Now Danny also has a channel. It's fantastic. You can check out her channel. I'll leave a link to her channel in the video description as well. She does a lot of plant ID, wild edible mushrooms, stuff like that. She's also released a book, so I will leave a link to that as well. Alexandra Wright, hello. Would like to know if I'll be doing any autumn or winter overnight camping videos, and if I've seen any badgers or hedgehogs on my trips. So I will absolutely be doing autumn and winter campouts. I've got a couple of videos in the pipeline for you guys. It's going to be a combination of casual solo overnighters plus some bushcraft and some extreme survival skills as well when the weather gets cold enough. And as for the wildlife, I've not seen badgers or hedgehogs while I've been out camping, but I have seen owls, I've seen deer, I've seen mice, and I've also seen bats as well. AE197Y wants to know what my favourite wild edible is and what my worst injury has been. Favourite wild edible? I actually like wild plums and damsons and things like that, but I haven't really seen a lot of those up north. As for my worst injury, I would need you to specify whether you mean in the woods or in general. In the woods, I would probably say my worst injury was splitting my big toe open on a rock while wild swimming. And my worst injury, not in the woods, but that was still bushcraft related, is this one. I was carving a handle for a stone knife and I slipped. I was at home when I did it, thankfully. I slipped and I slipped my wrist open. That was definitely my worst injury that I've ever had, and it definitely terrified me, and it made me realise how important knife safety is and just how vulnerable you actually are when you stay out overnight by yourself. Because I was lucky in that instance. I was at home, I had a first aid kit, you know, the ambulance came within 20 minutes, everything was under control. But if I'd done that, I don't know, 20 miles up the side of a hill, it would have been a completely different story. So always remember to be careful whenever you're doing any kind of crafting in the woods, especially if you're by yourself. And last but certainly not least, Hannah with a whole bunch of numbers wants to know if I would ever run classes, and if so, where. And is there a Mr. or Mrs. Outdoors? Both very good questions, but I'm not going to answer those now, so I guess you'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, that's your bramble basket and some questions answered as well. But that's all from me. If you like what you see and want to see more videos from me, then you know how it is. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, etc, etc. Excuse all the migratory birds above me, they're leaving for the winter. I'm going to head back home before it gets dark because I'm not doing an overnighter tonight. But yeah, that's all. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the woods.